Hi everybody, it's RASA von Werder, RASA, R-A-S-A-V-O-N, von Werder, W-E-R-D-E-R, aka Kellie Everts, the lady who strips for God and dances to save men's souls. Look me up under Woman Thou Art God. Look me up under KellieEverts.com or IStripForGod.com. Look me up on Embodiment of God, I meant to say embodimentofgod.com, and look up my books under RASA von Werder and Kellie Everts. RASA von Werder on Lulu.com and Amazon. I'm on Blurb. I'm on iUniverse, Barnes and Noble. I have 20 books you should check out if you want to find out. I'm a teacher. I was born a teacher. My father was a professor. He told me to study all my life. I've been studying all my life. It has nothing to do with any university or any type of curriculum like from the mainstream media. I studied on my own. I studied mystical theology. I studied 5,000 books until I went blind. I'm self-educated, but I'm well-educated. Okay, so as I was going to say, I'm talking about this crazy bogey yogi, what a fake he was, what a phony he was. And he was constantly talking about he had these supernatural gifts, he could dematerialize, supposedly, bullshit, you know. He was supposedly a vegetarian, but he wasn't. So I began to follow some of the things he taught, like the vegetarianism, fruitarianism, but he wasn't. He was, when he was with me, he did follow them, but behind my back he didn't. So what amazed him and surprised him was that I was so proficient at self-discipline and self-hypnosis. One time he got sick. He got very, very sick. He got a bad, like bronchitis, something in his nose, he couldn't breathe. And he said to me, you need to hypnotize me. And you're going to make me stiff as a board, put me between a couch and a coffee table, and then hypnotize me and heal me of this bronchitis, because I ain't going to no hospital. He was paranoid of hospitals. So I said, me, get out of here. I was scared shitless. I said, no way, I can't do that. I can't do it. I'm not doing it. And he said, if you don't, then we're through. Then I'm leaving you. You gotta do this and heal me or we're through. So at that time, I was paranoid about us being through. So there wasn't much to it. There really wasn't much to it. He taught me how to hypnotize him and what to do. He just gave me instructions what to do. Okay, so I put him into a trance, and I made him stiff as a board, and then I tried to put him between the couch and the coffee table, and I tried to lift up his legs, and he was fat. I couldn't lift him. He was too heavy. So I just left him like that. I just left him just laying there, stiff as a board. And I woke him up, took him up out of it after about a half an hour of dealing with his sickness and his mind and everything. And when he woke up, he was healed. So that was it. So I began to be a hypnotist. So he set me up. We already had, when I met him, he had extended offices, but the vice president, he conned to get the offices for free, cut him down to just 2 offices. So I used the back and he used the front office, and he made a deal with me. He said, you can handle the office all day, but I'm handling the office at night. Now what he meant at night was like from 5 p.m. up until, I don't know, evening, 11 or late, actually, quite late, 11 or 12 a.m., 11 p.m. to 12 a.m., something like that. And that's when he did all his dirty work. See, he did con artistry work at night. He would have people come in that he conned into, and a lot of it included sex. One time when I was leaving at the 5 o'clock when he was taken over, I was shocked to see my best friend Yolanda come in. So he had somehow hooked up, met and associated with my best friend, and I was stunned. And I said, what's going on? I didn't ask her then, I just said hello. I was so shocked I didn't know what to say. I left, and then later I saw her and I asked her what she was doing, and she said he was talking to her about getting a free apartment, and I knew where the free apartment was at. It was with a lady, a black lady lawyer who we were friendly with. He was, so he took me there, and she made a beautiful, beautiful dinner for us. And she had bought a building. It was like a rambling type building, and all these teenagers and kids and drug addicts were squatting. They were squatting in her house building. It was really like a residence, but it was very extended. It was like a 10 family. You could put 10 families into it. And we went in there. He showed me. They were all squatting rent-free. Like before she bought it, they were squatting rent-free. So that must be where he was going to con my girlfriend, who was a legitimate, honest, good girl dancer with a daughter. And he was going to and he was probably going to try to have sex with her. I know he would try. I hope she didn't give in. I don't know what happened. But I think when he realized she was my best friend and I knew her and everything, I think that kiboshed it. I hope it did, because she would have been polluted by his ugly dick. But, so anyway, excuse me. So then, so he was a phony, and I began to practice all the things he preached, like self-hypnosis, like he said, you don't need any sleep, you don't need food and water. Oh, so that, oh, wait, before I get into that. He had many restaurants where he had conned people into getting free meals. So there was this Armenian restaurant we would go to like once a week or once every 2 weeks. And we would go in and we had the most wonderful, beautiful dinner, and we never had to pay a penny, because he said that the guy had one time had a severe back attack and he doubled over and nobody knew what to do. They were going to call an ambulance, and he went over and he hypnotized him and got him straightened out and stood up and fixed him up. And so from then on in, the guy was indebted to him, the owner, to give him free meals. So we used to go in there regularly for free meals. Then, not that I was not dead broke. He had no money, no, zero, none. I wasn't dead broke. I mean, I had a very little money from my savings that, you know, we were living on, that we were able to survive for like a year on it. And so it was very little money that I had, but, you know, I try to conserve it, you know. So then we would go to this very, very nice, a beautiful place where they had a free salad with garbanzo beans. All you had to do was buy a drink, and you had access to the free food. It wasn't a lot of free food, but it was like, I think they had some sort of fancy rolls, salad, and garbanzo. That's how I fell in love with garbanzo beans then. And by the way, I was thin. I was thin the whole time, very thin. And so we would eat there, you know, just buying one drink, so we had free food. You know, salad, bread, and garbanzo beans, or whatever else they had. They had other vegetables that go with salads. So we ate that. And another thing, he loved to go to Malibu. There was Malibu, loved to go to a motel. I'll never forget this beautiful motel. I went there with him a couple of times, and of course I paid. And there was a beautiful balcony, and then there was the ocean, and oh my God, they had 2 pools in the front. They had a hot pool, and they had a regular pool. He didn't go in there, but I did. But later, I used that as an escape. I used to go to this Malibu motel by myself, and I took my daughter with me a couple of times, and it was just out of this world. Oh, I'll never forget. It was one of the most, like, magical places I've ever been in my life. Okay, and going into the pools at night, I'll never forget that. At night, with warm, you know, the hot spa pool, and then changing from that into the regular pool, which wasn't cold, it was warm. And I had learned to swim a little bit then, which I forgot. Later I didn't know how to swim, and I loved it. It was just heaven, heaven on earth. All right, so I began to practice some of the things that he taught. I'm going to do one more video on him, and then I'm out of here. I can't stand thinking about him. I can't stand thinking about the next person, Verna Talbot, either, but I have to get through this. I just have to be continued.